he's starting to tank the bunker civil CV's repairing it, so it's even more resources the baby really needs, but can't really use up. He doesn't want to review his Medic Marines force first. Let's see. It's going to be Sidova doing alongside Berserker coming up, so still no Reaver tech coming up. A pylon meanwhile being hid a little bit towards the 12 o'clock, so that's probably showing off Bisu's next location of advancement. Probably going to put up his next expansion. Meanwhile, there is an initial tank out for baby. I assume that's going to be siege mode. Yeah, it is indeed going to be siege mode, so he is going to be able to hold off Dragoon attacks for now with that one single bunker and those tanks at the back. But he's still not in a very good position. Temple Archives and a Stargate coming up for Bisu, so he's already rushing off to Arbiters. Going to go for 2 base Arbiters. And, you know, it's not Reavers. They're not going to be ripping apart Marines like crazy. But, you know, still Arbiters are Arbiters. And there are comsat stations on the way for babies. Meanwhile, adding in even another barracks. But I'm just really looking to see. Usually you see protoss spotting the Medic Marines and going for the appropriate forces. But actually these Dragoons are not going to be able to do much damage against the Marines at all. It's going to be Zealots that are going to have to be taking the brunt of the damage. He has to pick off the Zealots first, but he has tanks at the back as well as some SCVs to support. Medic Marines are going to be stimming up and running right towards those Dragoons. Going to be forcing them back. 6 Dragoons are quite a bit, but already one of them goes down. Just do not do much damage at all to the Marines. Even the Marines stim up and run. The Medics are just going to be able to heal him before really anything much else happens. He's just going to have to focus down one Marine by himself. Let's see, 9 or 8 Dragoons now for him. Now I just don't think he's picked off enough Marines really to make this build of babies completely useless almost. They already lost 1 tank. SCV's not repairing them in enough. 2 more tanks coming in. 1 in siege. Second one's going to siege up, so he's going to use his Medic Marines as a wall. We're going to see what Bisu actually decides to add some Reaver tech to this. Adding gateways for now. He's going to go for 6 gateways. I think he's going to stick to his already strategy. I mean, Arbiters are still going to be effective. I've never actually seen Arbiter play against Marines in my 1.5-year history of commenting StarCraft. Yeah, it has been that long. But Baby at the very least still continuing to put up pressure, picking off Dragoons here while not losing his Marines, because really Bisu's having a hard time focusing down those Marines. And Baby just continuing pushing, but I think he might be letting himself be lured in the trap. Tanks first especially is not something he wants to do. He wants to go Marine first, already losing quite a few, but still managing to pick off some Dragoons. Still putting on very heavy pressure with tanks at the back. They also have very long range, so he's really managing to do a good job. But there's a DT out in the front, picks off a tank. Baby's going to be forced to retreat. Lost all of his Marines, but still did some decent army damage. But overall, not really much else accomplished. Does scan. The DT actually going to probably manage to run away before anything else happens. No, let's see. I don't see an Arbiter on the way. Just see more gateways being added in. That's going to be the 7th one. Bisu did pick up his 3rd, 3 o'clock. That's a mineral only. And Baby's still engaging with Medic Marines and tanks. Bisu has a quite large force, though, as an observer there as well to help him spot Dragoons adding in and picking off those tanks. Now, despite the fact that Medic Marines are a very important part of his army, he really wants to make sure he keeps those tanks alive. Tanks are the ones doing the heavy damage. Sieged or unsieged, they're the ones really doing all the damage here. Medic Marines kind of adding as partial blockers, but I think the Zealots actually have speed at this point. No, yeah, they do have speed at this point. So they're going to be able to run in and start attacking those tanks, but still a lot of like minimal army fighting going on. Tanks sieging in a pretty bad position, going to get completely surrounded by the Zealots. Oh man, horrible time for Baby to siege. He knows, you can tell by his face. He didn't see the Zealots running in. He sieged, and just as that happened, bunch of Zealots run in and picked off all of his tanks. And I think with nothing but Medic Marines, he's just not going to have enough. Meanwhile, an Arbiter Tribunal coming up. So we're going to see the initial Arbiter coming in fairly soon for Bisu. He's going to go for 3 base Arbiters. Meanwhile, just keeping up troop production. Zealots and Dragoons just mixed in. Another barracks coming up for Baby. Also an engineering bay. So he's going to continue upgrades and just continue trying to engage. He's already committed to this, so he's not really, doesn't really want to uncommit. Is that a word? Bisu, meanwhile, has a probe at the low right-hand position. Thinking of soon enough picking up his 4th Arbiter Tribunal. Almost ready as soon as that happens. Going to see the first initial Arbiter come out. And I'm just wondering how much trouble Baby's going to have with this, because he's not really on the way to Science Missile Tech yet. No Science Facility imminent. Ooh, let's see. Bisu thought to go in for a little bit of pressure there, but that didn't happen. A lot of Marines waiting for him and focus firing on his troops. Bisu just continuing to macro up, adding in even more gateways. Has a fairly sparse force, and he just keeps reinforcing his army much faster than Baby does. Even if he has should have 5 racks at this point, still not doing enough damage. High Templars out in the field for Bisu now. And with those High Templars, they're just going to be able to rip apart all the Marines in 2 seconds, and that's it. Baby did go for some Fire Bats. They're at least going to be able to stand toe-to-toe with the Zealots until they die. That's not really standing toe-to-toe with somebody when you just die always, is it? But a stim, they're at least going to be able to do some heavy amounts of damage. It's going to be another attack here on the ridge. It's going to siege up one tank, start attacking some of those dragoons from the range. High Temper's actually being retreated. Bisu going to try to consolidate his army. High Temper's moving in through the back. He wants to get a nice couple of storms off, primarily on those Medic Marine troops, because if he managed to get those storms off on those Medic Marines, he's going to be able to run in really quickly right afterwards with the Zealots and the Dragoons. Mule going to be engaged with Medic Marines and tanks, engaging Dragoons and Zealots, picking a lot of them. Zealots coming in very close on the siege tanks, though. They're going to be able to pick some of them off. And a storm goes off. 2 decent storms by Bisu, not catching everything. 3rd storm also, but picking off a lot of the Medic Marines. And now the final forces do get lost by Baby, and he GG's as soon as that happens. Bisu still had reinforcements flowing in, still had a nice economies that was completely unharassed, and Baby just did not have his 3rd digits, did not have the troop production. So Bisu, with a fairly comfortable win, gets himself into the round of 36 of an MSL, and let's just hope that solid play is what he's going to continue bringing, because he's really just needs to stop underestimating opponents. I know that in Bisu, it's the tough opponents that really bring the best in him, but he needs to stop underestimating easier opponents, because those are the ones that kind of he loses to. He tends to play extremely well against very tough opponents, but kind of play lackluster against the guys that he should be beating. So we're going to see what he brings into round 32 of this next MSL. So GG guys, wrenching out. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoy. Look forward to the losers and final matches soon.